Sean over here. What are your thoughts on Merab embracing the Mexican fans and culture these past couple of months? Do you think that's more of a promotional move by him to just try and get people to sway towards him?
Yeah, the dude pretends to be Georgian, then he pretends to be American, now he pretends to be Mexican. He's all over the place, but he's doing his best. Can't hate on it.
And I know obviously a big focus not only on the fights but the Sphere. I mean, I'm sure you heard a lot about that already. But being back in Vegas for you, I know Vegas has always been a city you like to fight in, and you wanted to be on last December pay-per-view. So I guess how does it feel for you just to be back in Las Vegas?
God, it feels great. It feels like we're home. My first, I think, we'll count in the Contender Series, I think my first 10 fights were here in Vegas. So feels so good to be home. Feels good. The short fight week in Boston, or in Abu Dhabi, I was there like 17 days early. Boston, I was there Sunday. Miami, I was there Monday. This week we got in Tuesday afternoon. Fight week's gonna feel nice and short, and yeah, I'm very excited to be back in Vegas.
And speaking of the Contender Series, a lot of people, when you talk to them about the Contender Series, they think about your performance when Snoop Dogg was on. The show has come a long way since that performance. So what do you make of the show's progress and all the talent that's coming out of the show?
Yeah, sweet. I mean, the cage is right there. When I was fighting, I think it was actually in here as well, but the whole production of it it's improved a ton. So, oh no, when I fought in the Contender Series, that definitely wasn't here. Yeah, no, it came a long way.
And back to your career, obviously, there's a couple guys that have their names in their hat for it to be next. So if you get past Merab, who do you think should be more deserving of a fight, whether it's a Figueiredo or an Umar Nurmagomedov? What do you think?
I'll say this just so it gets clipped. Merab probably won't see the whole thing. He'll probably just see this. I think Umar is more deserving to fight me right now than Merab. I don't really mean that, but Merab's going to see that and fucking freak out. He has this weird thing against Umar. He got asked about him and he left. He's like, who's Umar? He just doesn't think he's deserving. So I'm sure that'll get clips sent to him and he'll freak out. But as far as who's next, it's definitely not Umar. It could be. It could be Figgy. Could be Ilya. There's options. Right now it's pointless. I got to go out there and take care of Merab's, but we got options after.
If it were to be Umar, could you think that would be the closest thing to another Conor Khabib build-up?
Absolutely. I mean, Irish, Russian. I mean, it's there for the big fight.
Last one for me. You mentioned Ilya. Ilya has a big fight with Max Holloway coming up. How do you see that one going at UFC 308?
Honestly, I think Max might piece him up. Ilya is very, very skilled. Ilya is up there top 3 pound for pound, in my opinion. So. I'm very, very excited for that fight. I haven't been this excited for a fight for a while, so I'm looking forward to that one, but I think Max potentially could piece him up.
Sean, back over here. How different was this camp compared to Aljamain Sterling? Both teammates, both like to wrestle. That camp, you were injured with a rib, so like you were kind of limited on the wrestling. Like, how different was this camp?
I would say that camp, I would give it a D+. Like, I was able to still run. I was still able to do my hill sprints. I was still able to hit mitts. I was able to get in good like kickboxing shape. But as far as like jiu-jitsu shape, grappling shape, there was, from 6 weeks out to the fight, there was none, zero. So that camp wasn't necessarily great. This camp, I'd give it an A. I think this camp's been fucking excellent, and it needs to be, because Merab's very, very dangerous. So it needed to be a good camp. It was a good camp, and I'm excited to go out there and perform for everyone.
How bummed were you to not have Tommy compete on the Contender Series?
Yeah, that sucks, man. He'll grow from it. It'll be a learning lesson. It's a learning lesson to everybody in the gym. It's like when you're that close to the fight, we got to be smarter. And but yeah, that was tough, but it'll go by fast. He'll be back. He'll be on it, and he'll do his thing.
And finally, for me, was there a Mexican fighter in the UFC that you liked watching, or that inspired you?
A Mexican fighter. I just think of Kelvin Gastelum off the top of my head. His fight versus Izzy, that was the first one that came to my mind. But Mexicans are they're always fun. They're always in a good fight. They're always tough. They're hard as fuck to knock out. And but yeah.
Sean over here. Sean, going back to Contender Series, obviously some fighters get built up outside the promotion and then they come over and it's a big deal. What benefit do you feel you've had, specifically pretty much growing up under the UFC banner?
Yeah, I mean, each fight you get to go and perform on the UFC under the UFC platform is a huge benefit. Like, there's just no eyeballs anywhere else like the UFC. So for me to be able to go there and build myself from when I started to now, it's like every fight I become a little bit more popular, and so it's a huge benefit doing that under the UFC.
I've got a couple more for your reaction. Do you think Merab should have to give you back your jacket if you win?
He doesn't have it. He borrowed it because I gave it to him. His nose looks like a fucking coat hanger. I was talking shit to Aljo. That's the thing. You clearly see in the video that I take my jacket off and I put it on the handle. People are like, "Oh, Merab stole your jacket." He didn't steal. I let him hold it for me. So I still have it.
And then the last one, just for the record, do you feel you're more Mexican than Merab, headlining Mexican Independence Day?
100%. I have a Mexican family.
Thank you.
Sean, right over here. In the past year, just how would you describe what being a champion has been like? Winning the title in Boston, defending it, just how would you describe what that's been like?
Before I was champ, I told myself I need to live like I'm the champ. As far as what I'm doing, training, what I'm doing outside of the gym, I need to live like a champion if I want to become a champion. So I've been doing it for a while. Same shit, like train, recover, COD, train. Like it's a very basic lifestyle for the most part.
Back last September, you got to go up to Missoula and celebrate with the Grizzly football team. Got to be celebrated at the stadium in front of thousands of fans. Can you just describe what that was like, being celebrated in Montana in front of a stadium like that?
Yeah, that was cool. That was felt good to go back home and be celebrated. Montana's, I'm born and raised there. It kind of molded me as a fighter, so yeah, it was cool.
And then not long after that, you did the Town Pump event in Helena. Like, do those events mean more because it's where you grew up when you look back at it?
Yeah, it's funny just going to places like my hometown and seeing high schoolers stand in line to get a picture with me. Like, I would have been standing in line to see someone that had made it from hometown. So I saw a lot of my younger selves in those guys. So yeah, it was cool.
And then your siblings have been a big part of your life as well, and we're going to be speaking with them tomorrow, but Michael has obviously had kind of a remarkable story in his own right and kind of a path through himself. Like, as his younger brother, what's it like kind of seeing the trials and tribulations your older brother has powered through to kind of get to where he is now?
Yeah, I thought that dude was definitely going to be dead. I lived in Arizona for like 8 years before he did. He was back in Montana, addicted to drugs, like way off on the deep end. And I thought that dude, I completely emotionally was not attached to him at all. Like, I thought he was gonna die eventually. So for him to get sober, move to Arizona, and like be a part of my life now is it's inspiring, honestly, because addiction's no joke, and he's battles it every day, but he's winning. So it's cool to see.
How proud are you of him, and how much does he mean to you, just knowing his path?
Very proud of him.
Last one for me, obviously you talked about Tommy McMillan. Just what can you say about him as a fighter? Another up-and-coming Montana guy. Just how would you describe just his ability as an undefeated pro? Yeah,
Tommy's very durable, very fucking skilled, good mindset, and I'm excited to watch his career play out.
Thanks, Sean.
Sean, you said you ranked Ilya top 3 pound for pound. Where do you feel that you rank in your own pound for pound?
Number 1, of course.
All right, then who's number 2?
John Jones. He's got fucking dogs. He shoots guns. No, I'm jokes.
Sean, one more, please.
Yeah.
Who would be your dream artist to perform a concert at the Sphere?
Damn, dream artist. That's tricky because there's so many, but I know that Mexican OT is coming out to support, so that's dope.
Hey, great choice. Thank you, man.
Yep.